So hello, it's great to meet you.
Thank you.
Okay, so did you find the place okay today?
Yeah, there were heaps of signs.
Okay, that's really fantastic. I just wanted to start off by welcoming you and saying that my name's Sarah. I'm the social worker here in this agency. And I just wanted to ask if there was a particular name that you wanted to be called today.
Everyone always just calls me Charlie.
Okay, Charlie, that's beautiful. Now, I also just wanted to start off by letting you know how I work with my clients and what this session is going to look like today. So basically, you have the right to start or stop the session at any time. And if there's any questions that I ask you that you don't want to answer, you have the right to say, I don't want to answer that question. And also, if there's something in particular that you want to talk about, you really have the right to direct where we go in our session today.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So I also just needed to let you know that everything that we share today will be confidential. However, if you do share something with me that means that you're at harm or at risk of harm, or that somebody else is, then I'll need to let my supervisor know and let the appropriate authorities know as well. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, I understand. I don't think it'll be a problem.
Okay, beautiful. And lastly, just letting you know that I'm going to take some notes today, just to help me understand what's going on for you. And you're free to look at those notes at any time. And you can help me in writing them if I do write something incorrect or something like that. Does it sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Well, why don't you let me know why you've come in today?
Well, I'm having a bit of a hard time at the moment. There's a lot of change in my life at the moment that's quite difficult.
Yeah.
I've just started to enter the workforce again after 40 years.
Okay.
And so that's been quite challenging. Recently my husband hasn't been able to work and hasn't been able to pay the bills, and he's been quite sick, and there've been a lot of medical bills, and so I've had to start working again.
Okay.
And it's been quite challenging to re-enter the workforce.
Okay.
It's been very exhausting. I'm 63 years old.
Okay.
And I'm really worried that I'm not going to be able to pay all the bills.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also really worried that the government's going to extend the working age, which is going to mean I'll have to work for even longer.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like there's a lot going on for you at the moment, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you mentioned that your husband's been quite sick lately?
Yeah.
Yeah? Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, well, he's been in the hospital a lot. He actually he passed away yesterday, which
wow.
Yesterday morning, about 3 in the morning.
I'm so sorry, Charlie.
Yeah, it's been, we knew it was going to happen. He's been in the hospital for a little over a year.
Okay.
We knew that he wasn't going to last very long. The doctors thought that he would actually pass away about 3 weeks ago, so
Okay.
it's been very lucky that he's been around for as long as he has.
Okay. And so he's obviously been sick for quite a while.
Yes.
That must have been really difficult. Can you tell me a
Yeah.
bit more about that?
Yeah, it's been so hard because he's been so sick, and we've had so many experimental treatments done that hasn't been paid for by insurance, and
Okay.
so it's come out of our pockets, and
Okay.
we've blown through our savings, and
Okay.
so he was a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and so he knew what we needed to do to help prolong his life and to help improve his quality of life. But I don't know, there were a lot of hard decisions there, and it was just really hard looking after him every day.
Well, that must have been really challenging, Charlie, having to watch your husband be so sick. One, obviously, that you cared quite a bit about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that, yeah, there's a real strength there in the way that you wanted to be there for him every day. That's really wonderful.
Thank you.
Very welcome. And so you mentioned also that you've had to start working full-time to pay your medical bills. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, I have this secretary job now that kind of run off my feet with it.
Okay.
It's pretty exhausting. It's
Yeah.
I was very lucky to get the job, and I'm so grateful that I have it, because I don't know where we'd be if I wasn't working.
Okay.
I was so devastated when I started looking for a job, and I realised that all of the qualifications that I got when I was young and in my 20s are no longer valid.
Okay.
And it's like I have to start all over again from scratch.
Okay.
It's just so exhausting.
Yeah. So yeah, you really do have a lot on your plate at the moment, and starting working full time again after not working for 40 years sounds like it would be really challenging.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has been.
Yeah.
Everyone around me is so much younger, and
Okay.
I don't know, I kind of feel like I'm excluded from it, and that like they just don't want me there. Like they think that they can do everything better than I can. Honestly, they probably can.
Okay.
They're younger, they're faster, they're
Yeah.
more experienced, and
Yeah.
it's just been it's very hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to visit my husband in the hospital every day when he was working there, and I saw that he was so strong and powerful, and he was in charge of his entire department. He used to teach the younger ones and help them become better doctors, and I thought that if I were to return to the workplace it would be different than it is, but I don't know, it's hard to start over after 40 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you mentioned that your husband only passed away yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah. How are you going with that?
it's been, I don't know if it's been harder or easier. I mean, before it was so hard to be with him all the time. I wanted to be there with him every time he was awake, and every time that I could be there.
Yeah.
I wanted to be there
Yeah.
when he finally passed. But having to be at work full time, it made me feel very guilty for not being with him
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the final months, every minute for the final months.
So you really wanted to be there to support him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of good for him to be in the hospital though, because he was surrounded by people that were familiar to him, people that he'd trained, and people that he knew and trusted.
Okay.
And so I think that was, even though it was a lot more expensive, I think it was better for him than if we'd taken him out of the hospital and brought him home.
Okay.
I think that would have been harder.
Okay.
It would have been easier for me, but I think it was better for him.
Okay. Yeah. And so, Charlie, why don't you tell me about the rest of your family? Do you guys have children or?
Yeah, we have 3 children, 3 girls.
Mm-hmm.
They, 2 of them are living together in Queensland, and then one of them is in Canada at the moment working. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, what's your relationship like with your children?
My relationship with them is pretty good, well, it was until my husband started getting sick. Until then, I made sure I called them at least once a week.
Yeah.
And we sent emails and always kept in touch with them and what was going on in their lives. And I always kept them updated in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when my husband got sick, he became my whole life. Everything that I did was for him. And I couldn't keep that out of the conversations I had with my kids, and they didn't really want to hear it. They didn't want to talk about him. They just kind of wanted to block him out of their life.
Okay. So it sounds like their relationship with their father was quite strained.
Very.
Okay.
It always had been since they were kids.
Okay.
I don't know why they always pulled away from him so much. Everything he did was for them and to help them and to give them the life that he wanted them to have and the life they deserved.
Okay. And do you feel like you understand why their relationship was so strained?
I think so. He always worked so much.
Okay.
He loved his job, but at the same time, he worked so hard to make sure that he could provide for them. But I don't think they saw it quite the same way. I think that they wanted him in their life more, more time with him.
Yeah.
But he was never really around much. Not enough, apparently. And when he was around, he was very focused on education.
Yeah.
And making sure that they had the best chance of having a good life. And so he was a bit hard on them.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they took it the right way.
Okay. Yeah. And so they weren't really around very much while your husband was sick?
No. I called them all when we found out that he was sick, and they pretty much said that they didn't really want to know. I mean, they didn't come right out and say it, but it was pretty clear that they weren't going to come and visit, and that they weren't going to call, and they didn't want anything to do with him.
That must be really tough for you, Charlie.
Yeah, it's been very challenging. It's like I've had 2 lives, and I've had to keep them both completely separate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, every time that we brought up the topic of the kids with my husband, he'd get upset and defensive, and I think he took it the wrong way when they left and pulled away from him and stopped calling, and yeah, he was pretty mad at them, and they didn't want anything to do with him, and it all just escalated, and it never got fixed.
Yeah, that's really tough. So Charlie, we've talked about a few different things today. We've talked about how your husband's been sick for quite a while and you really wanted to care for him, and how he's just passed away, and how you've had to start working after 40 years and how challenging and stressful that is, and also how your children have had quite a strained relationship with your husband. Is there anything that you particularly wanted to focus on, or anything that I've missed today?
Well, I'd like to talk about support. Like, since my husband's been sick, it's been very hard for me to keep up relationships with friends, and so I've just been very isolated. I mean, I tried to talk to my kids about what's going on in my life, but because it involves their father, they just didn't want to know. And we don't really have any other family. And I've been working full time, and every second that I'm not working, I've been with my husband, and so I've kind of, over the past year, lost touch with everyone else in my life.
Mhm. That must be pretty hard, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah, feeling quite isolated during this time when you're really grieving about your husband.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely something that we can have a really good chat about next time, if you'd be interested in coming in for another session.
Yeah, I think that would be really good.
Yeah, because I just need to let you know that our session is coming to a close now and that we need to start wrapping up.
I understand.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so we really have chatted about quite a few things today, and I think that it's really wonderful that you cared for your husband so much while he was sick and really wanted to be a support for him. And
Thank you.
yeah, that's really beautiful, and how you were really very courageous to start working again after 40 years. That must have been such a big step. That's really fantastic.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I think even just coming here today and trying to find someone to have a chat with and to talk about those things that are maybe being a bit overwhelming in your life at the moment, or might be a bit stressful or a bit tough. It's really fantastic that you're here.
I think it's been a very good help to start talking about it and everything that I've just been keeping to myself. Yeah, of course. And if you're happy to, we can have another session next week, and we can continue talking about maybe some supports for you and looking at just some stuff to make it maybe a bit easier for you. Mm-hmm.
We can definitely do that. I just wanted to check in with you and see that you're feeling okay to be leaving today.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel a bit better. Yeah.
No problem. Okay, well, it was wonderful to meet you, Charlie. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Okay.